Very good to meet you finally. You were an engineer, a lawyer, then you entered the political space. What was the thought behind it? What made the switch?
I realized that all we are doing is baby steps as compared to large-scale policy changes or large-scale transformational impact that you can do if you are in politics. And I had that clarity in my mind that I'll come back to India and then get into public life.
There's a lot of conversation about AI moving far ahead of the law.
For the first time in human history, machines have started behaving autonomously. Machines have started developing some sort of cognitive skills.
It is a very intimidating space, law and tech. Did you think that, I want to de-jargonize it?
What if anything goes wrong or a crime is committed using an AI model? Then who's liable?
There's a lot of conversation about how the AI models are probably biased from a very Western point of view.
Western models, which are trained on data which they have fed, are obviously not going to be looking at our country's interests. That is precisely why I have been urging Government of India that we need to create our own models.
What is the idea behind this? Machine Created Intellectual Asset Bill 2025.
Our copyright laws, it was drafted like 70 years ago. When it was drafted, no one would have anticipated that we'll come to a day where you'll have machines giving you literary outputs. Just like you have copyright, you have the patent, you have a trademark. Any literary work or any output by a machine should also be classified as an IPR. Justice is very contextual.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
It's not black and white.
Yes.
Law is black and white.
Yes.
But justice is contextual.
From a coloniality lens of removing the word Lord.
After 75 years of independence, why should we continue to do so? Why should we call them Lord? It's the people of India who gave the nation the constitution.
Welcome to Law Beats, sir. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure talking to you, Sanya ji.
You have a very interesting journey and I'm very curious. You were an engineer, a lawyer, then you entered the political space. What was the thought behind it? What made the switch from engineering, law, then the political space? So give us some thoughts on that, some reflections on that if you must.
Sure. I grew up in a place called Kalahandi in Odisha, and as is typical with any middle class family of my age, we grew up knowing about two careers only, medicine and engineering.
Yeah.
And I was not interested in medicine, so engineering was the obvious choice. Got selected, completed my engineering, then got accepted by one of the top IT companies of our country, Infosys.
Infosys.
So, as was expected by family, friends, joined Infosys. But I was not cut out for corporate life.
Right.
So, when I was with Infosys, I realized that this is not for me. I wanted to work with people. And I guess that has always been my nature since my childhood. So, after working with Infosys for a few years, I left it to join an NGO in Odisha. A very, very small NGO, and the NGO was implementing community projects, and I ended up working with them for 2.5 years. While I was working with this NGO and I was involved with the community life 24/7, I realized that all we are doing is baby steps as compared to large-scale policy changes or large-scale transformational impact that you can do if you are in politics. So that motivated me to join politics. But before getting to politics, I always wanted to go for higher studies. Initially, I thought I'll do a PhD in economics or development studies. But then I didn't want to be out of the real world for long. A PhD would have taken me 4 or 5 years.
Yes.
So then I settled on an MBA, a 1-year MBA, and luckily for me, I got accepted to the Oxford MBA. Not only was I accepted, I got a full scholarship.
Yes. You were one of the first recipients, or the first?
The very first.
The very first.
The very first. So Jeff Skoll, who is the co-founder of eBay, he started this Skoll Center to award MBA scholarship to 5 MBA students. So I was the very first recipient. Very, very grateful to Jeff Skoll. Completed my MBA, then went to work for the World Economic Forum in Geneva. Then I went to do a second master's at Harvard, master in public administration, because what I'm doing essentially public policy and public administration. And I had that clarity in my mind that I'll come back to India, relocate back to India, and then get into public life. So I moved back to India in 2011, joined politics in 2012 with Biju Janata Dal, and in the meantime, when I was working with Infosys, I also had completed my law.
Right.
So I had acquired a law degree.
Right.
And I knew that I have to earn a livelihood as well, because I have to make a living. Though I had some savings because I worked abroad for a few years, but you need to make a living. So that's why I also chose to start my legal career. And I come from a family of lawyers. My father is a lawyer, my elder brother is a lawyer. So I've always been fascinated by law. So that's how my legal career and my political career journey started.
Very interesting, sir. And also the big names, Oxford, Harvard, these are all dreams of a lot of young students also.
Right.
If little bit of information you can give to these students who are wanting to get into these universities and then get back to India, work in public life, any bit of advice you can give to them? How do we, go forward with it? How do we make their way to it?
The advice which I give to youngsters is never think small, always think big. And whatever you want to achieve is lying outside your comfort zone. Just get out of your comfort zone. Most of us get so comfortable within our own cocoon that we don't realize that greatness awaits us outside that cocoon. So just little effort. Getting into Harvard, Oxford, frankly, Sanyaji, is not that difficult. Rather, I would say it's more difficult to get into the Indian institutes, the IITs and IIMs.
Yes.
But most Indian students, they feel that this is beyond us, this is out of our reach, so don't even apply.
Yeah.
And then of course there's no substitute for hard work.
Yeah.
Where I have reached today, with God's grace, with all humility, I can say that whatever I have achieved in life today is because of hard work. I mean, there's simply no substitute for hard work, unless you win the lottery or you are born with a silver spoon or golden spoon or platinum spoon, I don't know. But for most of us, hard work will take you to wherever you want to. There is my favorite book is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And that book has literally changed my life. I can tell you, it's a very interesting anecdote. And there's a beautiful quote in that book. If you truly want something, the entire universe will conspire in helping you get that. And that has been my philosophy always. So my advice: work hard, think big, get out of your comfort zone. Don't be comfortable in whatever you're doing.
And to add to that, there's one thing that we didn't reflect on: stepping out of your comfort zone amid all the public life work that you've done, all the institutes that you've gone to. You've also written a book on AI. So now that is like a buzzword nowadays also.
Yes.
It's called AI on Trial.
That's
and it's
correct.
co-authored with Tausif Alam.
Yeah.
The name of the book itself, in a way it puts AI in the witness box. Yes. That's one thing.
Yes.
And the second thing, of course, what took you into this space of AI? Of course, you have an engineering background.
Correct.
But I mean, honestly speaking, sir, it is a very intimidating space, law and tech, for a lot of people.
True.
Did you think that, I want to de-jargonize it, I want to make it simple? Or what was it like in your mind when you thought about entering this space, writing about it? So you're not just legislating, you're also writing about it.
True.
So any thoughts on that?
Law and technology have always fascinated me. Being an engineer and lawyer, I've always been fascinated by that interface of law and technology.
Yeah.
So legal tech. Not many lawyers in India, unfortunately, understand technology. And of course, AI is a very nascent field, but there is no walk of life that is not going to be impacted by AI. So as a policymaker, as a lawmaker, I feel that there is very little understanding about AI, not only in the policy circles amongst politicians and parliamentarians, but also in the legal circle amongst our law enforcement agencies, amongst our prosecutors, judicial officers. And increasingly, we have to deal with matters where AI models, AI systems will confront legal liability or legal accountability. So when the title of the book itself is very, very fascinating, because here, as you rightly observed, we are putting AI in the witness box. So AI model or AI system is on trial. Just as a human being is on trial, the accused goes on a trial. Here the AI model is accused. Okay. So what if anything goes wrong or a crime is committed using an AI model? Then who's liable? So the book explores these kind of questions. It's a very new subject, fairly new subject, but extremely fascinating and interesting. And one of the other objectives of writing this book was to urge the government, my own government, government of India, to think about bringing some regulations, some regulatory framework, okay, to regulate this new beast called AI. Okay, I'm not saying we should over-regulate because that will stifle innovation, but some balance between regulation and growth has to happen.
Yes.
For the betterment of the growth of AI and for the betterment of society and the country.
There's a lot of conversation about AI moving far ahead of the law.
Yes.
And that usually happens with technology, so it's nothing new.
Absolutely.
But in fact, I was reading an article also by the CEO of OpenAI. He was also saying the same thing, that there will be a time when it'll be taken as a mirage, or it's probably a mirage. We don't know. So, I mean, what do you think? What is the requirement today when it comes to regulations? Yes, there should be a balance, but what is missing? What do we need at the moment specifically to regulate this particular technology?
Sanya, you see, technology has always evolved. It's nothing new. And technology has always been a step ahead of regulation. You did say that. That's correct. What is the difference between AI and all the previous technologies of the last 10,000 years? You go back to, the invention of wheel, probably one of the earliest inventions of mankind. Whether it's the wheel or the printing press or electricity or steam engine or computers or internet, in every previous invention, technology behaved exactly the way human being wanted it to behave. You switch on the light, you'll have the fan go on or the AC running. You tell the computer what to do, you give the command to the computer will give the output accordingly. For the first time in human history, machines have started behaving autonomously. Machines have started developing some sort of cognitive skills, some sort of thinking skills. It's scary if you reflect on this. It's a bit scary that machines have started developing cognitive and thinking skills. But this is AI, which was not the case with any previous invention of technology. So this needs a different kind of regulatory framework. Okay, because machines have started behaving autonomously, we don't know where this is leading us.
Yes.
And we have to structure our regulations and our governance mechanisms accordingly, because there will be issues of liability, there will be issues of accountability, issues of bias, issues of trust, issues of privacy, issues of public safety. So unless you have some regulatory framework, how do you tackle these issues?
Yes.
And how will the courts adjudicate matters when it comes to them? Because there are no judicial precedents. The courts have never handled this kind of matters.
Yeah.
What if it is, there are many incidents now where teenagers have committed suicide being prompted by AI models.
Yes.
How will the courts handle these matters? Robots have started going on strikes. Okay, so this is the new world that we are living in. This is not science fiction anymore.
Yes.
This is reality. So this is why, as a nation, we should not be found lacking. Otherwise, my fear is that we might be compelled to follow the standards which other countries will set.
Yes.
Okay, so at least, this is a global phenomenon. There has to be some kind of, joining of hands with other nations, to just like climate change or just like any global issue. This also has to be tackled in a holistic global manner. But we need our own contextual, country-specific regulations as well. So that is my objective.
Especially from the point of view of bias, when you talked about it. There's a lot of conversation about how the AI models are probably biased from a very Western point of view.
Yes.
And to tackle that in itself, I mean, I'm talking about a very small example. To tackle that itself, we need to develop our own technologies also for that matter, or innovate in that regard.
AI models, they are dependent on data sets.
Yeah.
Okay, the models are trained on large data sets. Billions of data sets go into the models in training the models, and you get the outputs accordingly. Okay, so Western models which are trained on data which they have fed are obviously not going to be looking at our country's interest.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
I'll give you an example. DeepSeek. DeepSeek is now the most talked about large LLM coming out of China. Now, China has been making some illegal claims on Indian land, particularly Arunachal Pradesh. You just ask a question to DeepSeek. Okay, is Arunachal Pradesh an integral part of India? It's very interesting. You can do it now, and you will see what the answer is.
I've read a lot of conversation about this.
Because see, this is why I'm worried. This is precisely why I have been urging government of India that we need to create our own models. We are the country with the best data because of our youthful population, because of our data collection mechanism. I'll tell you, Sanya ji, we have one of the best data collection mechanism in the world. Because we are a youthful nation, half of our population under 25, 2/3 of our population under 35. So we generate a lot of data.
Yeah.
Now, how do we leverage that data in building our own models and getting the output that we want? I'm not saying they have to be illegal or they have to be incorrect, but factual outputs. That is up to us. For this, I think we have already missed the LLM bus, but we can create SLMs, small language models, which are contextual to our needs, which will tell our narrative, which are going to solve our challenges.
Yes.
Okay. So, if we do that, then I think the false narrative, some of the AI models that the West is building or is promoting, or the DeepSeek kind of model, which are actually against our national interest, we can counter them, right? This is at the national level. Then you have models which are biased against. There are gender bias.
Yes.
There are racial biases. AI startup company has been sued by some applicants in the US. There were some black applicants. They applied for a job. The AI startup was hiring candidates on behalf of the company.
Okay.
So it was profiling the candidates. And because of the data fed into this model, the stereotypical data that blacks are dull, they are inefficient, they are less intelligent. So the profiling which was made by the model was actually illegal, and very, very unfair and very biased against the black candidates. So they went to the court. So you can anticipate something like this in India,
Yeah.
Because in India we have the caste system, so let's say any such model, any similar model is biased against, let's say, the scheduled tribes or the scheduled caste or women. Okay.
Yes.
So we have to have guardrails. We have to have adequate preventive mechanism, and that is possible only with some kind of regulations.
And that takes me to another bill also that you introduced as a private member. It's called the Machine Created Intellectual Asset Bill 2025. Very interesting name only. It kind of works at the intersection of creativity and authorship, if I'm not wrong. If you could reflect on, how this particular bill came into being, or what were your thoughts behind it when you thought about it? Of course, you did speak about innovation and how we need our own regulations, INDIC regulations or INDIC innovations. But what is the idea behind this? Is it to protect IPR? What is it about?
Absolutely. This is to protect IPR. I introduced this bill 2 weeks ago in the parliament.
Yes.
Every member of parliament is entitled to introduce what is called the private member bill. Not only issues of bias, issues of public safety, trust, but also our copyright laws need to be amended in tune with the AI world. I'll tell you how. As I did mention, the AI models, AI applications, they use data for training the model. Okay, and the models actually they extract patterns from this data. Okay, and because they train on billions and billions of data sets, so they see a pattern. And then whenever you give the command, when you ask a query to the model, they give the solution or the answer or the output according to those patterns. So the pattern recognition is, I don't want to sound too technical, but that is how it works.
Yes.
Now, when they train on these data sets, obviously some of these data sets are copyrighted.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So oftentimes these models train on the data sets without giving the disclaimer, without rewarding the authors or the owners of this copyright work. Okay. In fact, there are many lawsuits now, both in India and in other countries. In the US, New York Times has sued ChatGPT. In India, ANI has sued OpenAI.
Yes.
That our data, our stories, okay, our literary work is being used by these companies to train their models without giving us any compensation or without even acknowledging that they are using our copyright data. Okay. So this is why, and then again, this is on the input side. On the output side, let's say you ask ChatGPT 4.0 to write a poem. Okay, you give some command that okay, it's a beautiful evening, the sun is setting, and then you have birds chirping, and please write a poem for me. The ChatGPT will generate a poem for you. Then you give some more commands that okay, refine this poem.
Yes.
So finally you get a poem. Who is the author of that poem? Can you copyright that poem? I'm asking you, Sanya.
We don't know.
Exactly. We don't know. Exactly.
Yeah.
No one knows.
Yes.
Because the law is not clear on this. As per Indian Copyright Act 1957, only humans can be authors of copyright. In this case, who has generated that work? Whether it's Sanya or whether it's ChatGPT, we don't know.
And then if it's ChatGPT, then what is the data which is
No, but
credited?
ChatGPT cannot be the owner of that work because ChatGPT is not a human being. As per Indian Copyright Act, and in multiple jurisdictions, only human beings can be authors of copyright. In fact, there is a very famous monkey selfie case. I don't know if you have heard of it. It's also called the Slatter case. So a monkey took a selfie of itself, a pet monkey. And then the owner of that monkey applied for copyright of that selfie photo. It was declined, saying that because you didn't take the photograph. Okay, the monkey took the photograph, took the selfie, and monkey is not a human being. So it was not. So it's a very, very famous case.
Interesting.
It's called the monkey selfie case. So this is why, in the absence of, our copyright laws, it was drafted like 70 years ago. So when it was drafted, no one would have anticipated that we'll come to a day where you'll have machines giving you literary outputs, whether songs or essays or books or literary works.
Yes.
So today you need to amend the copyright laws. And this is what my bill is suggesting, that you need to create a separate asset class, just like you have copyright, you have the patent, you have trademarks. Any literary work or any output by a machine should also be classified as an IPR. That is what it's called, the Machine Generated Intellectual Property Asset Bill.
Interesting.
So it's a very, very, very provocative idea. And there is hardly any conversation on this. So one of the objectives for me to introduce this bill was to trigger conversation around this.
I think that yes, it is very provocative, because even when you are using AI models and you are trying to create something on AI models, I'm speaking from personal little experience that I've had in this space of using such technologies. It takes a lot of hard work to produce something good on AI also.
True.
Otherwise, everybody is just doing sloppy work and reproducing the same thing everywhere.
Absolutely.
Then that question comes again, who is the author then? Who is the owner?
Absolutely.
Because you are actually putting in the effort as well.
You are putting in the effort as well, but you are giving the effort, you are giving the inputs to the machine.
Yes, yes.
The machine has been trained, okay, to generate certain outputs for your queries or for your inputs.
Yeah.
Okay, based on the training, based on the patterns that the machine recognizes, it gives you an output. Okay. So what part of your labor has gone into that output? What part of the machine's thinking has gone into the output?
In the output, yeah.
Okay. So these are all questions for which we don't have an answer yet.
Yeah. And very interesting questions actually.
It's a very fascinating field.
Very fascinating. And you speak very passionately about this space, sir. So I'm very tempted to ask another question. How do you think AI can help us in the pendency issue of the judiciary? That's one thing. Because, a lot of people say that AI ko use karo, put it in the judiciary, pendency hatao. But how do we actually do it is another question that I had in mind. And when you use AI to give better results in law enforcement, what is meant by that actually, simply speaking?
Right. See, as a lawyer, AI has made my life much easier, because now I don't have to scout for judicial precedents. Okay, when looking to find some judgment of the Supreme Court or of any of the High Court in a particular matter, okay, which I'm dealing with currently. Initially, when there was no computer, I remember my father, he had a huge library. It's still there in my town, and All India Reporter, and so if there was any matter for which they were looking for a precedent, they would read dozens of books to get a judgment.
Yes.
That became much easier with the computer and internet. Now with AI, you just give a prompt that, okay, give me 10 judgments which are similar to this case matter, and you get the judgments.
Yes.
Right. So from the perspective of a lawyer, it has made our life much easier. Lawyers have started using AI tools to even draft their submissions, which is dangerous. Okay. Judges have started using AI to write judgments, which is more dangerous. Okay. In fact, there is a very funny, I can cite a very funny real life example of IIT Bangalore, Income Tax Appellate Tribunal Bangalore, using ChatGPT to write a judgment. So the tribunal used the written submissions of the parties,
right,
fed it to the ChatGPT, and asked the ChatGPT to write a judgment based on the written submissions. And obviously the ChatGPT gave a judgment, okay, citing 3 Supreme Court judgments and 1 Madras High Court judgment. The funny thing is that none of these 4 judgments are in existence.
Very common with ChatGPT.
Yes. So basically the ChatGPT hallucinated.
Yes.
And gave an output, by citing judgments which are not in existence. And the tribunal pronounced this judgment in the open court without realizing, that this is a hallucinated judgment. And then when it was found out, the Supreme Court took a very, very stern view of this. So Supreme Court has now told all the courts in the country not to use ChatGPT to write judgment. They can use it to form an opinion, to understand more about the matter, but judgments have to be written by the judges, or the magistrates. But coming back to your question about the reduction of pendency, yes, our courts are pretty much clogged. We have millions of cases pending in our high courts and trial courts.
Yeah.
Even the Supreme Court has almost 70,000 cases pending. So AI tools can be used in case management, in case mining, okay, in ensuring that the case are listed and in the back office, okay, and also in the arguments.
Yes.
Okay. So research becomes much easier. So if judges took, let's say, 3-4 days to read the briefs, now they can get the summary of that brief in a couple of minutes.
Yes.
So to that extent, it's going to definitely help in reducing the pendency of the matters. But ultimately, human judgment will prevail. Because values such as compassion, using your common sense, those things you can't expect from any AI tool, however they evolve.
The human element at least as of now, how I see it, does not seem to go very far away.
Justice is very contextual.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
It's not black and white.
Yes.
Yeah. Law is black and white.
Yes.
But justice is contextual.
Yes.
It's subjective.
Even when you frame something, sir, I think as a lawyer, generally speaking on AI, it is a very dry and a dull aspect of things that you want to write.
Right.
I mean, what is generated,
right,
unless you actually rework it in your own ways.
Right.
So personally speaking, what I've experienced.
Right.
So yes, that human element, if it's not there, and you don't do your own corrections or cross-checking, like you said, the judge took out a judgment and did not even bother to cross-check the judgments which were there.
Right.
So that will always be there.
I use AI tools extensively.
Yes.
In helping me write my speeches, in helping me in my legal work. But I spend hours in from making the final draft myself.
Yes.
All my speeches, I'll write it myself. based on the input from the tools or based on the research input from my team. Even for my legal work, I take assistance from these models, but ultimately I'll vet it myself. The final output has to be mine.
Has to be mine. I agree to that extent. One very interesting question now that I want to talk about, we've talked about how we need our innovations and we need our own initiatives and aspects that need to come in the AI space from India itself, and of course regulations also. You have also spoken about, or I think you introduced a bill, if I'm not wrong. No, you reflected on it, sir. From a coloniality lens of removing the word Lord from the British governors and people who were viceroys. So at the time, is there a reason why you did that, or do you have anything in mind when you thought about reflecting on something like that? I'm asking because this conversation is now ongoing with PM Modi talking on Macaulay. In fact, Justice Manmohan, the judge of the Supreme Court, has also spoken about how PM Modi was right that, Macaulay's work has been a disservice to India.
Yes.
So, any thoughts on that?
Completely. I'm completely with our Prime Minister when he said from the ramparts of the Red Fort that we should do away with all symbols of colonialism. See, historically, the British viceroys and governor generals were referred to as Lord. That was a colonial project. The British, as colonial rulers of the country, they gave the title Lord to their senior, officials to perpetuate their racial hegemony, and it was an imperialistic design. Okay, by the British, for the British, and to the British. Okay, now why should we continue to call them Lord, as if they are some kind of demigods? Why should we put them on a pedestal much higher than our own freedom fighters? Specifically, when many of these viceroys and governor generals have committed barbarous and horrendous crimes against our own countrymen. So I spoke in the parliament on this, urging the government to remove the title Lord from all our government websites, official documents, history books, NCERT books, because I did a random search and I found that many government websites and official documents and NCERT books still continue to use the title Lord for British viceroys and governor generals. After 75 years of independence, why should we continue to do so? Why should we call them Lord? And particularly when Prime Minister has been talking about, see, our Rajpath has been renamed as Kartavya Path. Raj Bhavans have been renamed as Lok Bhavans. Even this 7 Racecourse Road, where Prime Minister has his official residence, has been renamed as Lok Kalyan Marg. Okay, so I salute our Prime Minister, Justice Pradhan Mantri ji, ye sab kar rahe, and we have this practice of calling the viceroys and governor generals as Lord. So I urge the government that we should discontinue this. And it was widely reported in the media.
Yes.
And there's a lot of conversation around it. I'm happy that, there's a lot of conversation now around this in college campuses and in the media.
Definitely, the civilizational renaissance in a way has come about, I think.
Yes.
And these conversations are ongoing from every, angle.
Yes.
Whether it's a judiciary or the legal system also for that matter.
Yes.
And some reforms are being made in that regard also to do away with various things which were colonial or we borrowed from the West. So I hope that this ongoing exercise continues. Little reflection on your work again that I want to do. Some drone centers that you had introduced or you'd set up in Kalahandi.
Kalahandi.
That's where you're originally from, sir. What were those like? What thoughts did you have in mind when you set these up? You've also spoken about, or it's been widely reported about drone didis, where there are women who are equipped to train children or people in this space. So very interesting. So any reflections on that for the audience?
Sure, Sanya ji. See, I draw my inspiration from our Honorable Prime Minister, and PM spoke about these drone didis. And he spoke about creating 1 lakh drone didis. Now, I have adopted 2 panchayats in my home district, Kalahandi, responding to the call of our Honorable Prime Minister when he urged MPs to adopt panchayats under the Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana, SAGI. in short. So I have adopted 2 panchayats. And, we have mapped every single household in these 2 panchayats, and these are largely tribal panchayats. And we have been working with women in these 2 panchayats, offering them some kind of livelihood skills, some kind of self-employment opportunities. So this idea came to my mind that, our Honorable Prime Minister has been talking about drone didis. Why not set up 2 drone centers where these rural tribal women can train to be drone pilots? Today you see drones everywhere.
Yeah.
But most of the drones are being operated illegally.
Yes.
People operating the drones, they don't have drone pilots. There is a certificate course. Okay, and then you have to pass a test to become a drone pilot. So now we are training 80 women. These are all women who don't speak a word of English. They have never been out of the village. They are all tribal women. 80 women getting trained to be drone pilots, and after 5-6 months of training, they will sit for the exam. We have tied up with NSDC, National Skills Development Council, with a drone startup company to offer them with these drone skills. And once they pass the test, they will all become drone pilots. They will start earning 10 to 12,000 rupees a month.
Wonderful.
So this is the initiative, and this is the first of its kind drone centers in the country, in any tribal school in India.
Interesting, sir.
I'm very proud of this project actually.
It's very interesting to see that such kind of work is being done. Actually, when you sit down and read about these things, you get to know that this is also happening.
Yes.
So I'm glad that I got to speak about it with you. So I have one question in mind that I have wanted your views on. Since you've worked on such an intersection of various, areas, law, then policy making, even the engineering space, what is your view on the judicial doctrine of separation of powers?
Right.
What is the right way to look at it from a constitutional perspective, and generally from a citizen perspective also, if you were to give your thoughts on it, for the better functioning or institutional functioning better to go forward?
Sure. See, let me start from the jurisprudence side. Separation of power is an essential feature of our constitution. In fact, separation of power has also been read into the basic structure of the constitution, the doctrine of basic structure, which was articulated by the Honorable Supreme Court in the famous Kesavanand Bharti judgment of 1973. So each organ of government is expected to, work independently and work within its own, within the confines of its limit. The legislature is mandated to frame laws and policies for the country. The executive is mandated to implement those laws and policies, and the judiciary ensures that the laws and policies which are legislated by the legislature or executed by the executive, are within the mandate of the constitution. They are not altered by the constitution.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, we have seen that sometimes, clear separation of power is sometimes not respected, either between the legislature and executive, or sometimes you see what is now called the judicial activism. Judiciary stepping into the legislature domain or the executive domain. You have seen many judgments where, I think the judiciary has tried to usurp the territory of the legislature by announcing guidelines and dictating policies. I think it's not fair. I think it's not fair, and Arun Jaitley had very famously called it the tyranny of the unelected. Okay, so let's leave the legislative work to the legislature, because they have been elected by the people of India. That's what the preamble of the constitution starts with. We the people. Okay, so see, as lawmakers, whatever we are doing, we are just reflecting the aspirations of we the people of India. Because in a democracy, in an ideal democracy, all the 140 crore citizens should sit together and should make laws. But because that is impossible, so we have a representative democracy.
Yeah.
So people of India, they send the MPs and MLAs to legislate on their behalf. Okay. So when the judiciary tries to take this turf, they are actually insulting the will of the people of India. Okay, so I think that balance has to be maintained, and also the blurring of line between the legislature and executive is also not good. Okay, so I think there is a clear demarcation between the three organs. I think that should be respected. That is good for the democracy. That is good for the society, and I think it's good for the welfare of the people of India also.
Yes. I want to give a very controversial take here. A lot of conversation is there about, oh, you know, the constitution is supreme. But actually the constitution itself says that the people are supreme, or
Yes.
they are the most sovereign.
Yes.
A lot of debate, a very debatable topic.
Yeah, but, sorry to interrupt you, but it's the people of India who gave the nation the constitution. Because that's what it says. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved, okay, give ourselves this constitution on this 26th day of November 1949. So it's the people of India. The Constituent Assembly again was a parliament, mini parliament of that time, right? So the Constituent Assembly drafted the constitution on behalf of the people of India.
Correct.
Okay, again, because all the people of India then could not sit to write the constitution, you had the Constituent Assembly, okay, reflecting the will and aspirations of people of India. That is the constitution. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, I totally, I agree with you to a large extent, but it was important for me to reflect on the other point of view also.
Of course.
So yeah, that is of course my personal view as well. One last practical advice question that you would like to give to younger people who are wanting to make it big in the political space. You know, because a lot of people think that you will need a lot of contacts or political lineage, but I think post 2014 that shift has also happened, and even before that there were lots of people who made it by themselves. So any practical advice you'd like to give to people who want to make it big in the political arena especially?
Before I give any advice, I'll give a disclaimer that politics is a very difficult terrain. It's not for everyone. I'm not trying to discourage people to get into politics, because I really want more and more youngsters to come into politics. Trust me, I am the biggest advocate of having more youngsters in politics, despite the the intensity of this profession. Because we are, as I said, we are a youthful nation, and unless we have youth politicians, you'll have this disharmony between the lawmakers and the general public, right? Now, there is a huge barrier to entry in politics compared to other professions.
Yeah.
In other professions, yes, you know that this is a clear career path that you have. This, you write an exam, you pass, you become this, that.
Correct.
In politics, there is no such clear career path. In the earlier days, it was largely determined by your surname. If you had a famous surname, if you had any family legacy in politics, if you had a family, if you came from a political family, it became much easier.
Yes.
It's still the case.
Yes.
But things have started changing, particularly after 2014. Okay, Prime Minister Modi has made both entry to politics and your survival in political world very democratic. Now, someone like me, I didn't have any political legacy. I was very fortunate that I got introduced to Sri Naveen Patnaik, and then I started working with him, and then destiny took me where I am. With the blessings of Lord Jagannath, I'm where I am today. It may not be the case for everyone, but having said that, there are today a lot of opportunities for youngsters to explore the political world, political/policy world. Let me put it this way. See, not everyone should get into electoral politics. Not everyone is cut out for electoral politics.
Yes.
But without being in electoral politics, you can be engaged in the political sphere. Okay, by doing policy work. And today there is so much of scope for policy experts, for policy students, which was not the case 10-15 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? So my advice to youngsters would be, if you want to be in politics, one way is through the policy sphere, be an expert in certain policy areas, assist, work with politicians, work with political parties. Today, every political party is looking for experts, policy experts. Start working with them. Obviously, you'll build your contacts. And if you're really good in what you're doing, then the parties or the candidates will recognize your potential, your merit. And then, that can lead to your entry into the political sphere. Or you can also start from the grassroots. We have a very, very thriving 3-tier Panchayati Raj system.
Hmm.
You know, Sarpanch is a very, very important, person who can literally transform that Panchayat. Okay. So, not everyone can start and contest to be an MLA or an MP.
Yeah.
You can contest as a Sarpanch, which is so much easier. If you come from that area and if you come from a Panchayat, you can contest as a Sarpanch, win the election, really perform well. You will immediately get the attention of the political parties, and then maybe you'll be given the ticket to contest as an MLA or as an MP. Many Sarpanchas have ended up in Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, and Vidhan Sabhas.
Yes.
So there are multiple paths. There is no straightforward path to become a politician. But I think, if you have the will, as I said, again I'll go back to Paulo Coelho. If you truly want it, you will make it. Right.
That's a wonderful wrap to today's conversation, sir.
Thank you.
And I think it was really nice of you to speak to us today.
No,
Thank
it
you
was
very
absolute
much.
pleasure for me as well.
There's a myth that, it was a long back myth that, MPs just enjoy themselves. But I know for a fact that you were very busy and you took out time for us. So thank you very much.
Yes. Well, not only me, trust me, almost all politicians work hard, particularly MPs and MLAs.
Yeah.
I don't know why there is this myth in society that politicians are lazy, they don't work hard, it's not the case. So I'll try to, through you, Sanya ji, try to dispel this myth that, we work as hard as any other professional. Okay, I would say even more, because we deal with the general public.
Yes.
And the expectation is much more on us. So it's a tough life, but there cannot be any more satisfying profession than politics.
And I think more of that has changed and more quality people have come post 2014. So on that note, I think I would like to end. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us today.
Thank you.